Alright, this is turn 4 of the Trident. Um, we actually lost the recording of the first playthrough, so I'm just going to play the turn back and quickly talk about what happened. Still falling.
5, 8, 7, 9.
This tank fired, but it hit a tree. This tank hit the pause command, so he backed off and took a shot. This tank is rolling up on some people. Shot out. Alright, so let's look through that right quick. So, the interesting things that happened, we had this guy, probably the most interesting. And I'm going to turn the sound off because it's a little much. So, this guy rolls along, sees some people running around, guns that guy down, sees a lot more people running around, guns a couple more guys down, runs this guy over, except not. Then comes around here, decides to shoot the infantry instead of the personnel carrier, which, I mean, is a tank, fair point. Somebody shoots him with like a light anti-tank weapon or something, which doesn't really do anything. But he spins back around to see these guys. The light anti-tank weapon came from off-screen somewhere over here, or from an unknown guy somewhere over here, so either a member of this squad or this squad. There may be a guy in the woods, maybe not. I think that, well, there's that guy that just ran past him. So yeah, this tank gets an order to kind of run back this way, keeping its face towards the enemy. It comes up here, pauses for a second to lay waste, and then runs around, runs back this way, or backs up that way. So over here, this guy, frustratingly, does get some shots off in that direction, but it's like hitting this tree, so that's great. He pins him briefly, but that's really it. And then he backs off. This guy also has problems. So he comes straight up to see that guy, aims at him, but then I forgot to give him a pause command. So he gives a little back up and ends up in his final position. This dude just repositions slightly. So, what we end up doing here is, I'm worried that this guy has a javelin because, I mean, if I was him, I would put a javelin in that tree line to look over this area here. We know he does have javelins. So I kind of have my tanks like bounding up and shooting their coax into this wood line here to hopefully suppress him while they kind of work their way up, because I do want to fucking come around with these guys and try to come in behind him, because I think that will really fuck with him. The troops will, end up taking fighting positions up in these different tree lines. They end up getting dispersed. I start breaking up the infantry squads. I like keeping them, like these guys, I like keeping them as one squad if possible. Like in the beginning, to just kind of move them around, but once, fight comes about, I think personally it's better to break them up, because they're so big and unwieldy, as like a 3 fire team squad, that they end up like with their guys sitting in weird places. So it's better to have direct control over the teams, I think, when you're trying to get in a fight. Now there may be some sort of command and control issue with that I don't know about, in which case that's a bad decision, but that's what I'm operating on. So this squad was going to come up here to start looking over this way. I'm guessing this bombardment's going to continue for a little bit. Actually, maybe not. Let's see. Okay, so it cuts off there, actually. Oh, is that one more? Nope, that's just the whiter smoke popping through the thing. Okay. Although, maybe that's a spawning ground for something else? That would be weird. Okay. Well, regardless, this platoon is coming in. There's a ridge here, so they're kind of pausing before this ridge before they come over and expose themselves to shrapnel or whatever from this, or errant rounds or whatever. He doesn't really have significant armored threats, so I'm actually keeping the javelins back and leading with the riflemen and the machine guns. I think using the tanks as sort of this like traditional cavalry harass the flanks thing is going to be a really good approach. I think it's going to be a lot better than using them as like gun platforms and like a assault spearhead, because he's all just like infantry in the trees and they have anti-tank weapons, so that's not really going to work out well. So using them to harass the edges, I think, will be better. And it'll also, give him a lot of different problems that he has to try to solve, which is going to stress him out and is going to split his attention. And hopefully that'll cause him to make some mistakes. So that's turn 4.